Hello everyone and welcome to this new video. Today we are going to talk about the 8 habits that if done continuously, will make us mentally weak. Negative habits are behaviors that have harmful and unfavorable consequences on health, well-being, or personal relationships, can negatively affect quality of life and personal fulfillment. Stay until the end of the video to climb 8 steps toward mastery of mindset and your personal growth. One. Poor eating habits can lead to malfunction of some vital organs such as stomach and liver, and also to diseases such as overweight, obesity, heart, and metabolic problems. Having a poor diet means not only eating too much, but especially eating unhealthy foods. Overconsumption of fat, carbonated drinks, sugar, and processed foods is increasing more and more, especially among young people. Added to this are other bad habits including skipping meals and eating after hours because we are bored. There are general rules we should all follow. For example, eat 3 to 5 meals a day, eat fruits and vegetables, limit consumption of fried foods and carbonated drinks, do not overdo sweets, do not overuse salt as a condiment, but most important of all is to drink plenty of water. Drinking little water makes us fatigued and lacking energy. The feeling of tiredness overtakes us. This is due to the loss of sodium levels in the blood. Weakness then is a sign of muscle fatigue. 2. Lack of sleep inevitably leads to major mental and physical imbalances and disorders of the immune system, which, on the other hand, recharges during sleep. Not only that, irregular sleep is the cause of decreased concentration, mood imbalances, reduced libido, increased cardiovascular risk, and arterial problems such as hypertension. Revenge bedtime procrastination is called this tendency to postpone nighttime rest, almost a real revenge of the body in response to very stressful rhythms imposed over a period of time. We heard about this condition a lot during the COVID-19 pandemic, which forced people to spend much more time indoors than usual, changing their habits and sometimes delaying night rest. To try to solve the situation, first of all, it is important to re-establish a proper sleep rhythm. Through a few tricks, avoiding the use of technological devices before going to sleep, not exercising during the evening hours, and lying down mainly at the same time, trying to create a daily routine. During daylight hours, moreover, the advice is to devote time to yourself and leisure, perhaps planning it carefully and setting realistic goals. 3. We all have mental patterns and beliefs that limit us in our highest expression. Such mental representations are called limiting beliefs. These limiting beliefs have a strongly negative impact on our lives because they block us. These beliefs are stories we tell ourselves unconsciously that often succeed in limiting us in our daily lives. But why do we construct these mental patterns? The factors are mainly dictated by the circumstances around us, culture, family, society. A thought is harmless until we believe it. It is not our thoughts, but the attachment to our thoughts that causes suffering. Attachment to a thought means believing it to be true without investigating it. A belief is a thought to which we are attached, often for years. Quote from Byron Katie. We must strive to think in a new way and replace negative thoughts. Resist going back to previous patterns until we have new, better, and above all true beliefs. Overcome your emotional blocks and scale the summit of success. 4. Selfishness is an attitude that leads to feeling superior, to thinking only and exclusively of oneself, to overvaluing one's own abilities, and to not giving one's neighbor any consideration. Selfishness is the excessive love of something, which leads to disregarding the considerations of others. When selfishness prevails in relationships and decisions, it can have negative impacts on individual and collective life. First of all, selfishness can impair the quality of interpersonal relationships, as lack of consideration for others can generate conflict and alienation. In addition, a selfish mindset can hinder cooperation and solidarity in society, contributing to a climate of competition and lack of empathy. On a personal level, selfishness can lead to a narrow and isolated view of life, limiting opportunities for growth and satisfaction from sharing and cooperating with others, can create obstacles to personal happiness and building meaningful relationships. 5. Procrastination is that small interval between the time when we think of tackling a certain task and the time when, after some hesitation, we decide to give up and put it off until another time. In such cases, the choice to postpone often becomes a source of stress and worry, causing guilt and risking having the upper hand over the ability to act. The pleasurable feeling then in most cases is short-lived. It hides experiences that can also be very negative, of dissatisfaction and guilt. Procrastination, if practiced continuously, becomes a real habit or automatism that people resort to even unconsciously. Stopping procrastination may require a combination of strategies and changes in time management and motivation. Divide larger tasks into smaller, more manageable tasks. Set personal deadlines for your tasks. Identify the most important and urgent tasks. Imagine the positive outcome of completing the task. Reduce distractions. Work on forming positive habits. Recognize and celebrate successes. 6. Ignorance refers to a lack of knowledge, understanding, or awareness about certain topics or situations. This condition can have many facets and impacts in our lives. It can lead to incorrect or inadequate decisions. Without adequate information, it is more difficult to make wise and informed choices that can have positive consequences. Lack of knowledge can fuel misunderstandings and conflicts in interpersonal relationships. Often, differences of opinion are fueled by a lack of shared information. Acts as a barrier to self-development. Without awareness of one's weaknesses or opportunities for growth, it becomes difficult to improve personally and professionally. Contributing to prejudice and intolerance, lack of familiarity or understanding about different cultures, religions, or lifestyles can fuel stereotypes and discrimination. Lack of awareness can hinder the learning process. Those who are unaware of their gaps or who do not seek to acquire new knowledge may miss opportunities for growth. Awareness is the key to overcoming the negative impacts of ignorance in our lives and society. 7. Social isolation is having an insufficient network, measurable by quantity of relationships, quality of interactions, and frequency of contact and support. People without sufficiently strong social connections run a higher risk of stroke, anxiety, dementia, depression, suicide, and more. Social disconnection is a factor influencing educational achievement, early school dropouts, missed college enrollment, or abandonment of job search. Fear of being alone, especially in adolescence, leads to total disconnection. Worse economic outcomes, more frequent confrontations and conflicts, lower satisfaction, and risky job performance underscore the value of coming together. Those who constantly feel lonely may experience a general level of dissatisfaction and low happiness in life. Loneliness can negatively affect sleep. Lonely people may experience difficulty falling asleep or maintaining quality sleep, may contribute to low self-esteem and lack of self-confidence, especially if social relationships are poor or difficult. Importantly, loneliness is not always negative and can even provide space for reflection and personal development. However, when it becomes chronic and oppressive, it can have significant impacts on an individual's overall health. Seeking social connections, joining communities, and being open to relationships can help mitigate the negative effects of loneliness. 8. Surrendering personally and cognitively can have a significant impact on an individual's life on a personal level. Surrendering can undermine self-confidence and lead to a loss of self-esteem. One may begin to doubt one's abilities and feel inadequate. Surrendering may generate a deep sense of failure. The person may perceive giving up as a sign of inability to overcome challenges or achieve desired goals. The act of giving up often involves giving up seeking solutions or facing challenges. This may result in the loss of opportunities for personal and professional growth. Those who give up may withdraw socially and isolate themselves from others. Lack of engagement and participation can affect social relationships and contribute to a sense of loneliness. Giving up can trigger a cycle of negative thoughts and pessimistic attitudes. This cycle can become self-perpetuating, further affecting how the person deals with future challenges. Those who give up run the risk of experiencing regrets over time. Looking back and reflecting on what might have been can generate feelings of dissatisfaction. It is important to emphasize that surrendering in certain situations can also be a wise choice, especially if it involves a greater awareness of one's priorities and limitations. However, when surrendering becomes an automatic response without exploring alternatives or seeking solutions, it can have negative consequences on the quality of life. Thank you for making it to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment and like to support the channel. Goodbye, and see you in a next Mind Academy video.